marriage can be an amazing thing, but you have to be mindful of what you need to do to make it all that it can be. Keep watching and I'll explain more. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Stephan Speaks, or Stephan Laposiere, aka Stephan Speaks, here to provide you with dating, relationship, and even marriage advice. I'm your certified relationship coach, and I'm all about helping you experience not just better relationships, but a better life overall. Now today we're going to discuss the 3 keys to a stronger marriage. Now let me make something very clear. There are a lot of keys to a stronger marriage. I'm only naming 3, but you of course can add in the comments below what you think are some keys to a stronger marriage. There's a lot we can discuss here, and I'm not saying these are of the highest priority, but I feel the need to discuss these specific 3 and highlight them and go a little deeper into them for you. Now, before we get into the video, as always, be sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, share it with all your friends and family, whether they're married or not married. It's going to be a great video for them to watch. And be sure to also check out my 2 books. I got 2 books for married couples, and really it's not just for married couples, it's for anyone who desires marriage in their life. So I have the book for men, How to Get a Woman to Have Sex with You If You're Her Husband. Let me just say, the reason why I ended up writing this book, and it was actually my first book I ever wrote. I was counseling a lot of couples, and I was speaking to a lot of the husbands, and the husbands were complaining about a lack of intimacy in the relationship. And I was noticing the disconnect between the wife and the husband as far as discussing these issues and how to make it better. So I decided, okay, let me write the book. Well, not just I decided, I prayed about it, and God guided me to write the book. So I did the book for men. And then a couple years later, which was recent, I ended up writing the book for women, How to Get a Man to Cherish You If You're His Wife. And again, just breaking down a lot of things that I feel will be helpful, not just to wives, but to any woman who desires to be a wife, any woman who's even engaging in relationships, to understand these dynamics and understand what she has to become strong in and what she has to keep at the forefront and embrace and improve so that she can strengthen her marriage. Again, both books are focusing on what that individual, the man and the woman, can focus on to make the marriage better, because it takes 2 people to make a relationship strong, 2 people to make it work. And so when 2 people come together pouring into each other, that's how we create an amazing marriage, an amazing relationship, and not just a happy wife, but a happy husband as well. So let's get into the 3 keys to a stronger marriage. Key number 1, a higher amount of quality intimacy. So here's what I mean. Now notice I said intimacy. So we're talking physical and non-physical intimacy. The reality is this. Even for those of you who are very spiritual, who read the Bible, I was reading, it was 1 Corinthians 7 the other day, and it pretty much was talking about how the man does not have authority over his own body, and just as the woman doesn't have authority over her own body in marriage, and that they're not supposed to deprive each other of the need for intimacy in their marriage, because the reality is that intimacy is one of the reasons we come together in marriage, to avoid the sexual temptation that's out there. And again, that's coming from scripture. That's not just coming from my own perspective. And so we have to strengthen it, not just in this for the sake of pleasuring each other, but start to look at intimacy as an opportunity to bond closer with each other, bond more with each other. And again, this is both physical and non-physical. So to be completely honest with you, now listen, it can go either way, meaning there's women out there, wives out there, who are complaining about a lack of physical intimacy. There are men who are complaining about a lack of physical intimacy. Same as man, husband or wife complaining about non-physical intimacy. But for the sake of these next examples, let's just go with the typical man who's complaining about a lack of physical, and the woman who's complaining about a lack of non-physical. So for the lack of physical intimacy the man is complaining about or having an issue with, we can't ignore that. I see too many marriages allow their intimate life fall to the wayside and no longer are engaging in these activities and no longer getting it on to the bedroom and not making sure that both parties, and I stress both, are satisfied physically. So rather than just throw it all away and make excuses, we have to make an effort to improve in that area. We have to ask what is lacking. And I mentioned those things in the book, How to Get Women to Have Sex with You if you're his wife, if you're her husband. Some of the things that I want the man to be mindful of that help increase physical intimacy in the relationship, which funny enough, one of those things is non-physical intimacy. Because I come across a lot of wives who complain about essentially the man only wants to touch them or hold them when they want to get it on in the bedroom. And you want to feel, or she wants to feel more valued in that. She doesn't want to just be an individual or a tool for your intimate pleasures. So essentially, men have to also learn how to pour into that woman non-sexually with intimacy, talking to her, sitting and watching TV with her, cuddled up with her. These things all help. But again, you want to come together as a couple and discuss what specifically you need, but with the goal of improving the intimacy in your marriage. And again, once the intimacy improves, the bond between husband and wife becomes so much stronger. When you have two people who truly know how to satisfy each other in both ways or both aspects of intimacy and are genuinely pouring into each other and putting forth that effort, man, you're gonna have an amazing, amazing relationship. So do not overlook the need to improve physical and non-physical intimacy. Key number 2 to a stronger marriage is better and more effective communication. So the reality is that so many people are talking to each other, but they don't know how to properly express themselves to each other. They don't know how to get their message across as well as receive their partner's message. And the breakdown of the communication in the relationship causes a breakdown of the relationship, of the marriage. I cannot tell you how many people I've coached who were divorced or going through divorce, and their partner doesn't even have a clear picture of what was going on, what was going wrong in the relationship. Like, it was never fully discussed. It was never fully explained. And so there may be this vague idea, but there's not a true understanding. And that stems from bad, non-effective communication. So as a couple, and even when you're not a couple, for anyone who's single out there, we have to work on our communication skills as we are, regardless of your relationship status. That is a key component that not only helps you in relationships and in marriage, but in business, with your children, with your friends, you name it. So, but let's get back to being in that relationship, being in a marriage. Sit down with each other, spend time. I personally think that the best thing for a couple to do is the same way we have date night, or some people engage in date night, engage in talk night. And what I mean by that is carving out some time. It doesn't have to be a whole lot of time, even if it's 30 minutes a week, all right, where we sit down, come together, and we discuss things, and we discuss understanding each other better, discuss what we need from each other, kind of checking in as far as the quality of the relationship, and just a brief check-in. And even if you don't do it once a week, once a month, maybe once every few months, but I do think starting off once a week would be good starting off. And then it can decrease as, okay, we're just coming back to the table discussing the same things. Once we're getting on that better path and things are getting stronger, we don't have to always meet every single week, but we still want to check in with each other, discuss things, and learn how to communicate better. You have to build almost a chemistry with communication and a repertoire to where I know what you want to say even before you said it. Like, I'm reading you. I know how to be in tune with you. That is going to make the relationship so much stronger. So work on more effective communication, and your marriage will thank you for it. And then the last key to a stronger marriage, and as always, before I get to the last key, you know what I'm going to do. One more time, go check out the books, How to Get a Man to Cherish You if you're his wife, How to Get a Woman to Have Sex with You if you're her husband. They're amazing books. You're going to enjoy them. And again, they're not just for married people. They're for anyone who desires marriage into their life, anyone who's engaging in relationships. Because again, these principles are really fundamental to romantic relationships in general, though I'm all about encouraging it in the concept or in the dynamic of marriage. I do believe in the power of marriage. I think we need more of it. I think it's a beautiful thing. So that's where I focus more of my energy when I speak about certain topics. However, it helps everybody. So check it out. Click the link in the description. Click the link in the comment section. Get your copy and tell me all about it. So to get to the last key, all right? The last key is put God first. Now, if you watch me or if you follow me on social media, you know God is a very important part of my life. And I believe in the power of putting God first. And so I believe that in marriage, in relationships, we cannot forget that concept. Too many times we get with an individual and we put them on a higher pedestal than God. We are more focused on them than we are of God. Here's the beautiful thing of putting God first when you're in a marriage. The way that I look at it and the way that I encourage you to look at it is, essentially, if I'm focused on just my partner, now I'm more easily swayed by their actions. They don't do something here, if they do the wrong thing there, I'm going to react to them. But when God is at the forefront, I'm not reacting to them, I'm letting God guide me through the situation. So now, even when your partner doesn't do it the way you want to, rather than react, you pray. Rather than go off, you take a step back and you ask yourself, okay, what does God want me to do in this situation? And your willingness to put forth a great effort in that marriage stems from honoring God, blessing you with that marriage. Like for me, it's like if God blessed me with this partner that I can share my life with, then I want to honor him by doing my best in it. All right, but when we become so fixated on our partner and we bring God down a few notches, we now fall off the path of doing the things that we're supposed to do to make things better and stronger. Not to mention that praying, you can add this as 3A key to make your marriage stronger. Praying together is a beautiful thing. And again, I believe that when God is first in your marriage, then it heightens the understanding or the awareness for the need of prayer and praying together. It's a beautiful thing, and it's also another way to bond. It's another form of non-physical intimacy that you're going to benefit from greatly. So do not overlook that. Now again, I just gave you 3. There's a lot more we can talk about. But go ahead, comment below, tell me what you feel are some of the keys to a stronger marriage. Tell me your opinions on some of the things that I spoke about today. Also, be sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel, share it, and get your copy of the books. And again, I'm happy that you watching these videos. I hope you're finding it helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.